All right, so I got all of the trunk pan cleaned up as good as it needs to be to get to the next stage here. So I removed all the rest of the material along the inner wheel tub here. I got this edge of the trunk cleaned up, got everything removed over here as well. And so what we're gonna do is use this basically as our high point, and we're gonna build the trunk out level from here. The factory trunk had a flat spot and then it curved up. I want the whole trunk to be flat. We'll lose a little bit of height in the trunk, but we'll gain a lot of flat space. And so that's the compromise I want to make there. So we'll use this point here, come out level, and we're going to be about 3 inches or so above this flange here. And so the first thing I want to do is figure out exactly how high that difference is, and then we're going to make a new piece of metal that will go all along here and bump up our floor pan height to that right height so that everything can be flat. After that, I'll make some angle iron pieces, basically take some sheet metal and make an angle out of it, and then we'll use the shrinker and stretcher to make a flange that goes along the inner wheel tub to mount the trunk pan onto. And what I'm thinking about now is it'd be easiest to have this bump up here just be basically a Z, if you will, with piece of sheet metal just bent in 2 opposite directions with that height that we need to bump it up. But if you can see right here, there's a real nice long curve to the transition where this is going up to where it's going flat. And so I think it would look really nice if we matched that curve. So we have some measurements to take, and then we have some planning to do. Oh, that's gonna fall at some point. Okay, so I got this magnet right here. I'm just gonna place it on the frame rail to space it up. We don't want the floor pan touching the frame rail, making any squeaks or any noises. So this will bump it up just that little bit. And then I'm gonna take this ruler here that has a level in it, and we're just gonna place that on top of the magnet over there. We're gonna use our tape measure here, and we're gonna go up, and we're gonna find level. So there's level right there. And then we're just gonna measure and see what this height difference is. And so that is 1.5 inches. So all we need to do to have a nice level trunk pan is to make a piece that bumps the floor up right here 1.5 inches. That's a lot less than I thought it was gonna be, which is a good thing. I was thinking it was gonna be more like 3 inches, but it's actually not. It's actually only more in the realm.
The realm.
Well, it's 1.5 inches, not in the realm of it. It's 1.5 inches.
Do you know what the realm is?
So that'll be a pretty easy
I did what I did for the good of the realm.
thing to make. We'll basically want to have about 1 inch flange on each side of that 1.5 inch rise. So we're looking at about a 3.5 inch wide piece of sheet metal that will break 2 different flanges into and use the shrinker and stretcher to stretch it. Oh God. So that's going to be 1.5 inches tall, and it's going to be
Today, Junior?
It's 57 inches wide if there's no curve to it, but since there's going to be some amount of curve to it, it's looking like it's going to be more like 57 and a half. Now I'm curious if my sheet metal brake will bend that wide. And yeah, my brake is only 48 inches wide, so we won't be able to make that panel one piece. So it looks like we are gonna make the trunk piece in 3 sections then. So we'll do a main one that's 48 inches wide, and then we'll make 2 little pieces on the end. Let's get some metal cut out. All right, so I have the piece bent up in the sheet metal brake to raise the trunk floor up. And so now I'm going to take the tape measure and just mark every 2 inches so that I can stretch and shrink the flanges evenly to get a nice even radius on this. We'll be stretching one flange and shrinking the other so that we can get that nice smooth arc on it. They don't need to be very precise, just a rough guide for us. And then I've marked stretch on this side so I remember to stretch. And then on this side, I've written shrink and already marked this out so that we can shrink. I have the shrinking jaws set up in the Mittler Brothers bench press. So I'm gonna do a round of shrinking, and then I'll do a round of stretching to try to keep this from twisting up. Because if I just go ahead and shrink the top fully without stretching the bottom, it's gonna put some pretty gnarly twisting in the piece, I believe.
gaping pit waiting to swallow us all.
Does someone somewhere keep your balls in a little box?